yeah, the whole we could almost do a whole nother podcast on how sporting games have been like some of the most advancements in television technology, because they were trying to capture, like, there was some camera that it was like the XFL, which I think is real again. It was
the Rock owns it now. It's called the UFL, actually.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, because they combined with another one, became the United Football League.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like that, I remember reading somewhere years ago that even though the league was considered a flop, they pioneered this like cable system for the cameras that the NFL just bought, and were like, yep, cool, like that's how we film it now. And like,
well, it was basically like a drone type of camera that was just on cables in the stadium that would be able to fly over. Yeah, because they did that again, because I think they announced, just because I'm a big NFL guy, they announced just like a couple of weeks ago that they're changing like the kickoff rules.
Right. How so?
Basically, instead, because it used to be like kind of like a rugby kickoff where the team kicking off would kick it as far as they could to person catching, and then there'd be a whole bunch of people on the receiving team blocking, a whole bunch of people on the kicking team chasing. They'd smash into each other, blocking and trying to get the guy to tackle. Yeah. And the reason they're changing is because there'd be so many like big collisions with guys are running 50 meters of each other and full steam. Yeah. So this one, they basically have each team, the kicking team, all of their like tacklers lining up, and then 10 yards away are the receiving team blockers, and then you got the kicker back here and the receiver back there.
So they don't get as much of a run up.
Yeah, they don't get as much as a run up.
Was that like when you'd have knights charging or whatever? They got time to build up speed and like crash into each other. So
now they're only like charging, and like still this guy might get smashed if he runs in and gets tackled. But like these guys, at least they're just more trying to. It's like more of it becomes a little bit more like an actual, like a scrum where you're pushing instead of just
more technical.
Yeah, more tactical.
Just put your head down and run kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like the other thing that the XFL did, and I remember this caused more injuries than anything else, was they, to decide who gets the ball first, they would have one player from each team basically run for it, and like whoever grabbed the ball got it, and like one guy like immediately like blew his knee out or something in that, and like that one there, I guess because you're pushing yourself as hard as you can to get the ball first, like. They had more injuries than anything else. I remember I read that somewhere. I don't remember if it was accurate or not, but I remember it caused a lot of injuries just doing that. The crashing into each other thing is interesting because do you ever watch sumo?
Not really. I'm aware of it. But
I quite enjoy watching a bit of sumo every now and then. But when they do their like initial charge into each other, I think they're trying to hit each other with their chests, but because, you're both flying at each other as hard as you can, heads clash all the time, and dudes get these big melons on their head and stuff from getting crashing into heads, and there's all sorts of CTE and stuff like that. But I think they haven't been willing to do what the NFL did and change it up, because sumo is like really hell-bent on tradition.
Right.
Like they still have all these rules, like women aren't allowed to touch the dohyo or the ring, and they still like feed the ring like sake or alcohol. They do like a ceremony, and it's still like hella tradition, and they haven't yet changed the rules for the health of the sumo wrestlers, but I don't know, I guess it's good that the NFL will, because if you think about head injuries, the difference between now and when we were kids as to like the knowledge on head injuries is massive, eh? Yeah.
I imagine it used to just be like, oh, Uncle Jim's just angry all the time. We don't know why.
The mood swings.
It's because he played rugby for 20 years and bashed his head in all the time. But that does, like, I get why the whole sumo thing doesn't want to change their rules, because like rugby and American football, they're changing a lot of the rules and like making a lot of things that weren't penalties, and like especially in rugby, making things like yellow cards and red cards for just like accidental sort of touching someone's head, which really, and like your yellow card that sent your man down for 10 minutes, it really just changes the game, and that's
So people reckon that's the pendulum has swung a little bit too much.
Well, it's more just they're trying to combat it by like punishing the players for doing it, where it's like, to really change it, you got to like change how you teach it from the kids up, and like because it's all technique. Everybody starts when they're like 7 or 8. It used to be back then. I remember playing with kids, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I like to lead with my head because it's the hardest point."
Well, that was allegedly that was the big difference between rugby players and football players. Is like, because we don't have a helmet on, you kind of had to like get your head out of the way
Yeah.
when you tackle someone, but then football players, I think the typical thing was just put your head down and fly at them, and they used to refer to it as like trading paint with the other team when you'd get a stripe of the other team's colour on your helmet.
Yes.
But what was I going to say? I remember there was a big thing when I was a kid. I didn't really understand what it was, but it was the whole head-high tackle thing. Like, you have to tackle someone in rugby, like, how does it, like, below their waist or something?
No, so they haven't slowly changed. It was below. It used to be just be below the neck, and then when I was playing, they changed it to below the nipples.
Oh,
Which I find a funny rule because you have a rule around nipples.
You've got to keep an eye on your opponent.
Yeah, you got to really keep an eye. Like everybody lines up and does a nipple check at the start of the game.
Really?
You just,
Yeah.
No, they don't.
You've just got to estimate, like, he looks like he's got low ones.
Where are your nipples, sir? And just and then good game. Have a good game out there.
It's such a funny specific.
The referee comes along and just puts a little nipple line on.
Yeah, put a line on the that would help, wouldn't it?
But and then it's a penalty if it's anything neck or above.
Right, yeah.
Yes, talking about rugby again, guys.
Well, I suspect the people watching this are going to be at least vaguely interested in, like, you know, typical sort of like man stuff, but you know, like we say, it's important to be gentle, to be a hoss as well. So there'll be other episodes where
Taylor is a gentle hoss.
It's like, is it like a gentleman kind of thing?
Gentle hoss, yeah. The gentle hoss, and we just got, you know, like the bowler hats and then just tuxedos. Yeah.
Well,
and it's like a spoof of the gentleman.
Oh,
like
the Guy Ritchie thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a white. Yeah.
Thanks for watching this Hosstown clip. Why not watch another one while you're at it? You can watch full episodes of the Hosstown podcast here on YouTube, or you can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favourite podcatcher. See you in Hosstown.